How's it going there, YouTube? Jay's Cosplay Mayhem back with another video. As you can tell, this is the Gears of War Cosplay / Materials and Tools of Trade Part 2 video. As in the first video, I kind of went over the process that I'm going to be going about making my Gears of War cosplay itself. Everything for the most part for that cosplay build is going to stay the same except for one small little thing. And I'll be getting to that a little later, as well as be showing you guys some of the stuff that I ordered in the mail that came in through the month of March, as well as the end of February. Some stuff I just couldn't find in stores, so I had to order online. So some of the stuff that came in, it's all in. It's all in. There's one small little thing I still need to order, but that's the little announcement I'll be making a little later. But most of the video will be going over the materials and the basic tools, as well as other tools you're going to be needing and you could get to be getting started to be making EVA foam stuff that I'll be demonstrating in my tutorials, as well as other tutorial videos out there on YouTube. There is other tutorials out there, by the way. I'm not trying to claim that I'm the only one that makes the tutorial videos and whatnot. But Evil Ted, Punish Prop, Andrew DFT, Buddy Cosplay are just a few of the some that make stuff out of EVA foam. Those basic tools are just basic tools to get starting. But to kind of keep in mind, if you're only looking to be getting or making one or two things out of EVA foam for a prop or for whatever you needed or whatever you want to make the EVA foam stuff out of, if you just only be, like I said, using one or two items, just get the basic tools. But keep in mind, if you are wanting to eventually get started in the EVA foam world or making other cosplays or whatever it is you want to make out of EVA foam, and you're looking at the long haul of doing stuff with EVA foam, then consider getting the other tools that I'll be using, as well as Evil Ted goes over. He has a materials and tools of trade video as well, so go ahead and check his. He has two videos out there. Like I said, go check his videos out. He has other tools that I won't necessarily be going over, but that if you're looking like in the long run, like Punish Props and Andrew and Evil Ted, said go ahead and buy those tools. But like I said, if you're only looking for a short period of time, few things, then I wouldn't necessarily go and waste your money or buy all those advanced tools or tools that they use. Just stick to the basics, and I'll kind of be going over that. With that kind of being said, I do apologize as far as this video not being out sooner. My plans for making this video and releasing it right after part 1 came out. Didn't happen. Obviously, it's been another month now. It's been a big procrastination on doing the video, how the weather's kind of been. That's kind of an excuse, but at the same time, it's more just been procrastination. So I do apologize for not being out sooner. It's been a big procrastination on me doing my cosplay build in general. It's like it's already April, and I haven't really started anything really. I got a few things started, some ideas done, but I haven't really started on it. So the convention's in November, but I gotta get started. I have plenty of time, but I've been procrastinating and I just didn't get the ball rolling. I will have other videos regarding the channel itself, like the Nerf gun part of the channel. I should have videos coming up there hopefully shortly. Hopefully this procrastination is kind of done and out of the way, and I've overcome that procrastination, and hopefully I'll start producing videos and tutorial videos. But like I said, I am still kind of new to the whole YouTube videos and going about getting getting used to making videos. So I just gotta get used to making my videos and let procrastination kind of out of my way. But as I said, I do apologize. I was supposed to have it a while back ago. So with that kind of being said, I have another announcement I'd like to be making. That's about the channel. So the plans, as you can kind of tell, I'm not my normal area as far as making videos goes. Even as my third video, the plans to be making the garage. It's a little dirty. Wintertime. It's been kind of spring. Still kind of wintertime, cold. Hasn't really been particularly nice to clean the garage up. But so I'll have a video on me kind of organizing and cleaning the garage, as well as setting up my multi-purpose workbench that I'll be buying from Menards. plans are to be making it in this area. God dang it, I'm always thrown off. Making it in this area right here, or putting the workbench right here, or I might put it right here. We'll see. Like I said, when that time comes. But the plans are getting a multi-purpose workbench, like I said, from Menards, and having a video on me making it and just organizing the garage itself. So kind of stay tuned for that. Hopefully it kind of keeps more nicer where I can do that and have it set up. But just ideally I like to have another area to be making my stuff. The workbench will more or less be, I'll be using it a lot for my video, or my YouTube channel, but I'll be using it for whatever else I need it around the house, as far as car projects or just house projects, just for whatever I need. Like I said, definitely excited to be making the garage another work area for the cosplay builds and my channel itself. Definitely excited. Definitely excited. Like I said, I'll see you guys upstairs in the bedroom for the second part of the video. I'll be going over the stuff that I'll be showing, that I ordered in the mail, as well as that one little detail that's changed for me making my cosplay build, and the materials and tools of the trade. How's it going there, YouTube? Like I said I would do, I was going to be showing you guys some of the stuff that I ordered online that all finally came in. So the one little thing I still need to order, which I'll get into just a second. But first things first, I'll be showing you guys some of the stuff that I ordered online, and I'll also be showing you some of the stuff that I bought just from the store that I needed for the cosplay itself. So in the first video, I did show you guys my leather belt. When I showed you guys that, I didn't have the belt buckle. Finally got the belt buckle and ordered the right one that I wanted. Originally was ordering a black chrome one, but I decided I went with the actual all silver one, and just because it's more or less closer, even though I like the black chrome one a lot more, I wanted to stick as close as possible to the cosplay itself, as I do like to be really particular on my cosplays and make sure they're close as possible to the cosplay itself, or just as close to the character and whatnot. So that's that. Another thing that came in is my combat gloves, tactical gloves. Definitely excited about these. Original plans was going about making them. Some existing gloves. Don't know what I was thinking. Didn't really do a whole lot of research. Found out actually two other cosplayers. Like I said, I believe I mentioned in the first video that they made the JD Phoenix cosplay, and I just went and asked one of the other guys, and he kind of told me, "Oh, I use tactical gloves." I'm like, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Didn't think of it. So definitely happy with the tactical gloves that I ordered. Just any tactical glove, I guess, would work more or less. So I ordered those that came in the mail. Another thing that came in the mail it's going to complete the cosplay is the tactical boots. They do kind of look small, but they're my size. So definitely excited for these. I've been kind of wearing them around the house for the most part, so I can kind of break them. That way they're not completely hurting my feet around the convention. Just to break them so my feet can get used to them. That way they're just kind of worn in a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm going to be painting some mud effects on these or quite yet. So I'll kind of still consider it, but I'm not completely exactly sure if I'm going to be making them worn out, give them that kind of used look for the cosplay. As in the game, you do stomp around some mud, blood, guts. It's all there, you know. So ideally, it'd be kind of cool to be putting mud effect on them or some drops of blood. And went up and said, well, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I will. We just got to find out as far as this build goes. What else came in the mail? I showed you my scarf. Definitely excited for the scarf. Kind of excited again for the mess. Back there you can kind of see my tote that I'm going to be storing my Gears of War armor, as well as some other Gears of War stuff in there, such as my Lancer and probably my boots and whatever I need for the Gears of War cosplay. Probably all going to go in that tote. Nice thing about that tote actually is it does have wheels and it has a handle. And it has secure hooks for some straps. so I can put my other bags for my other cosplays on there and just strap them down with some bungee straps. So definitely excited about that. Actually, I purchased last week actually. Definitely happy about that purchase. I went and bought these work belts for like if you make construction work or house building work. I went and these are for you're putting on your belt. I noticed JD Phoenix has some accessories on his belt that I decided to go about. And I could make a few, which I might make one or two, but for the most part, I bought some stuff that's closest what I could find for it, and it has a little metal heavy-duty strap that I was just attaching, sliding over to my belt, just for looks. Not really going to be for functional, but I said I'll probably make a few more. Might look into maybe buying some of these, but I said, well, these are just some of the things for the belt that I'm pretty happy that I bought these actually. A few things that I actually made about a month ago was JD Phoenix's elbow pads. Pretty happy with how they came out. These are just, what are they called? These are just rivets. They have a back to them, but I'm just using the longer piece of the rivet because there's a small half piece of rivet and there's a longer piece. This is the full piece of it because there's a back piece that sticks to the other part of it. Just didn't need the other piece, but there's rivets in the elbow pads, so I attached these. Do kind of feel like these elbow pads are kind of small. I definitely should have considered painting them before I attach it to the fabric, but not completely a big deal, as I can bunch it up or just tear it off and just re-glue it later. But looking I could probably just even hand paint it too. I'm definitely happy with the elbow pads, like I said. Maybe consider making them bigger, but we'll see. I think they should work for the most part for the cosplay. Definitely excited with these. These are small little things I got out of the way. Another thing I made as well that kind of came in the mail, but more or less I made the snob pistol holder that JD Phoenix has. With that kind of being said, I made this pretty easy. So at the same time I made the elbow pads. But one thing that came in for it that I was waiting on was these side release buckles. I ordered 5 of them. Be using all of them except for one just to have extra hand if I needed it for whatever. Or if I find another side release buckle that's on the cosplay itself, I have that extra, or I can just order more. But more or less, all these came in at once. Definitely excited the ones that I purchased. Took me a while to do some investigating or looking around on the internet to find ones that are just close enough. These are not. These are close. They work. I'm happy with them. Definitely happy on how the snob pistol holder came out. Minus this little problem, but it can be more or less battle damage, worn. Doesn't gotta be perfect. Gotta paint this still, so I'll probably hand paint this as well. Definitely happy how this turned out. Another thing I did get done was I did show you guys the handle for the Gears of War cosplay, or for the Lancer itself. Originally it just was a handle from a $6 umbrella that I bought from Walmart. I decided to take my Dremel and Dremel out these holes, which I not really regret doing, but should have not, or maybe done it a little better. But it made the handle marks or handle grip more distinct looking. I attached some 3mm EV foam on the foam handle itself to make it more or less close to the handle that's on the Lancer itself, as well as attaching some EVA foam, the regular size EVA foam on the back part of the handle to make it close as possible to the actual handle on the Lancer. Still got to paint it because this is obviously gray, or this is black and this is gray. So for the most part, probably hand paint it. But I think I went over some stuff. It's about it for the most part that I ordered all online. Definitely excited. Didn't seem like it was much, but it was quite a bit. Also got my jean rivets that I ordered online for making the pants that I needed. Went to Joann's and all that stuff, and I found some jean rivets, but they weren't the right ones or the right colors. So I decided to buy a bunch of them online. I'm still kind of figuring out how I'm going to go about attaching those. I know how to, just got to find the right process and the right tools. But more or less, that should be everything that I ordered online. And the big secret that I am, not really a big secret, but one thing that's changed as far as me go about making my cosplay build itself is original plans we be using a overhead projector. I kind of decided to forget about the overhead projector and to be using a regular projector itself, just for the fact that it's smaller, lighter, and a little more cheaper. I don't have to worry about the weight of the actual overhead projector itself. It's just too big and bulky. Plus, that's another thing advantage of the regular projector. It's smaller, more compact. So hopefully got to order that this week or here soon, more or less, so I can get started on the armor. But for the most part, I'll be getting started on the Lancer as well as the Snob Pistol. I slowly started the Snob Pistol. Yeah, Snob Pistol won't take too long as it's a smaller weapon, and since it shouldn't take too much longer to make. So hopefully getting that done here soon. And we'll have that video up as well as maybe the Lancer video slowly started, which I have actually slowly started recording the videos for the Snob Pistol as well as my Lancer. Just need to finish them. So yeah, that's the announcing news and so that's that order online. I'm happy to show you guys. Like I said, now we're kind of going over some of the basic tools. So, basic tools is your multi-purpose utility, either your tracking utility blades or your flip open blades. Either one will work be cutting the EVA foam, but do keep in mind as the EVA foam does dull your blades. You can buy replacement blades. This one obviously breaks apart, so you can keep breaking the blades until it's sharp and then until it's gone, and just replace it with the replaceable blades. Same thing with this. Use both sides and then flip it over, or one side's dull, flip it over, and then when both sides come dull, replacement blades. Or you can go about still buying these and using these, but buying a sharpener that Evil Ted uses in his channel. He uses the sharpener to keep his blade sharp. You could do that. I just don't choose to. Personal preference, more or less. A big thing is safety glasses, as you'll be staining some of that EVA foam or whatever you're working with. Definitely always wear safety glasses. Is a big thing because you want to protect your eyes. Because if you don't protect your eyes, you get stuff in your eyes or shit in your eyes or whatever it is, you're kind of screwed. So if you get like maybe glue or whatever it is on your hands and then you rub your eye, it's in your eye, you're screwed. So safety glasses are definitely a big plus. Heat gun is another basic tool. It's used for a lot of things for making the EVA foam itself. They're doing some with the EVA foam, so it serves a multi-purpose function. So heat gun is definitely recommended. Hot glue gun, either low temp or high temp or both. Either way, just glue gun itself, or some barred rubber cement. I definitely recommend the barred rubber cement. It keeps things in contact longer and it's permanent. Hot glue, eventually you can glue all your stuff together and it tears apart. If you're gluing with the barred rubber cement, make sure you're very careful with when you're sticking things together. And so once you stick the stuff together with the barred rubber cement, it's stuck permanently there. So if you're slightly off on your weapons or whatever it is, you're slightly off on lining the material up with EVA foam, you're screwed. So be very careful. Evil Ted does stress that a lot, as well as the other EVA foam makers out there stress that a lot. Evil Ted likes to make, not stress marks, but he makes some kind of marks so he can, both materials. So say like this is one piece of EVA foam and this is another piece. He makes registration marks and he'll work as one way, depending what the item is. It's just two flat pieces. He'll line them up at the top, and then he'll slowly keep following the registration marks and lining everything up so everything's lined up. So then it's like this. So he follows his registration marks. Definitely recommend making those registration marks when doing stuff like that together. I haven't quite done anything yet where I needed to. So when I go about making my armor itself, we'll be doing definitely registration marks. It seems like it's the best possible thing to be doing, as well as some scissors, be cutting maybe your templates out, or if you're making your own templates, just basic paper, printer paper is what best thing to use to make your own templates. Or if you want to go about making using postal wrapping paper, Scotch brand, to making your own templates, you can use that as well. Scissors definitely help to cut that out. A marker or a pen, both, either way. Keep in mind when you're tracing your templates onto the EVA foam, as the EVA foam will dry your pen out, so just keep some scrap paper around or draw something real quick, as the pen will come back to life. Haven't used a marker yet, so I'm not sure if the EVA foam dries the marker out yet. So, but either way, to be tracing your templates onto the EVA foam is definitely a nice thing to have, because you just don't want to freehand and draw a idea onto the EVA foam. As definitely recommend making your templates and doing all your figuring out on the paper first, and doing your measurements and all that stuff out first. Doing all that stuff first, so your final product is perfect and not messed up. With that kind of being said, I have another basic tool that I'm trying to find. Bear with me. A measuring tape, a flexible thing that you can get from fabric stores. So like you're looking to do an arm or neck or headpiece or chest piece, you need your measurements so you can trace your template onto paper, and then tracing your template on paper to the EVA foam itself. Definitely recommend one of these, or you can even make your own flexible measuring devices. As Evil Ted uses just some strips of EVA foam. He cuts out a thin, small piece and mixes marks, lengths, and goes from there as far as making the right size for he needs for whatever. A Dremel. This is a higher end Dremel, more expensive. Not really too expensive, but a fancier Dremel. Dremel serves a lot of purposes for the EVA for making EVA foam. You can also use staining sticks or sandpaper. That's another thing. I don't have any sanding sticks available right now, as I haven't really made any, but they're basic. Just take your pretty simple and explanatory. Just taking some wood or some paint sticks and using your hot glue or your burr rubber cement, attaching the different grits of sandpaper onto the sanding sticks, and then make sure to be writing your different grits of sandpaper on the stick so you can see it. And I mean, obviously you can tell your difference, but when you're getting to the finer, more detailed grit sandpaper, the real fine stuff, it's hard to tell the difference. So definitely recommend using a marker or a pen and writing on that sanding stick the different grits you have. That way, you know, and don't just grab guessing. Another tool is a ruler. This small one works just fine to making your straight lines on the EVA foam or making your straight lines on paper. I mean, you can freehand your template, but if you want straight, precise, detail, definitely a ruler. I had bought two other rulers. A longer one from this, as well as a super long one. Not really a necessity, but something I went and did. So this small little ruler works just fine. As well as either EVA foam mat, not EVA foam, but self-healing mat or some cardboard. That way when you do all your cutting on the EVA foam, you're not damaging your surface underneath. On the self-healing mat, it's a nice thing to have, as you can cut into it and it heals. But after a while, the self-healing mats do get worn and will eventually need replaced. So cardboard is another good thing. So if you have an empty spare box around and you're wanting to do some cutting, that spare box will do just fine in cutting into the EVA foam, because you can just throw the box away eventually, or throw it away after use. This healing mat is definitely a nice thing. Like I said, it's a nice surface. Cardboard kind of shreds upon it after getting into cutting into. It kind of gets worn away and whatnot. The mat itself doesn't do that, but it said eventually it's kind of getting worn away, and you eventually need to buy a new one. Like I said, if you're only making a few things, cardboard works just fine. Like I said, EVA foam mat itself is your things you'll be doing all your work on, so that's a necessity to have. So the EVA foam mat, you can pretty much get that anywhere. Menards, Home Depot, Target, Lowe's, Walmart, gym stores, Sears. Because what these actually are is anti-fatigue mats. We call them EVA foam mats. They have a name, EVA foam, but they're most commonly known as anti-fatigue mats. Cheapest place I found the EVA foam mat itself was at I can't think of the place. Harbor Freight. Cheapest place I found. $8 for 4 of these. Harbor Freight also has the rolls. Like I said, you can buy that anywhere as well. You can buy those anywhere as well. But so the cheapest place I found it was Harbor Freight. You're also different thicknesses of EVA foam. This is I don't know what size this is, but there's this different thickness, and there's a thinner one that I have. I can't seem to find, but your different thicknesses you can basically be getting at your art supply stores. They carry it. Walmart as well as one of those things. Or Sears, you can find foam, different thickness of foam out there. So if you're not wanting to use the full thickness of the EVA foam mat itself, you can use the different thicknesses that you can find at your other arts or craft supply stores. Also, it's kind of nice that way you're not having to worry about trimming down your EVA foam all the time and guesstimating on how thick it is. You can just buy this and get the exact thickness you're wanting to make. Because if you're not wanting to make some completely big and bulky, usually you would trim down your EVA foam because you don't want that. Because the EVA foam has two sides, your soft side and then your texture side. The texture side we never really do use unless you're looking for that effect. Different EVA foam mats have different designs on them, but for the most part, all of them are the same. And it's this one's just straight across, like carbon fiber. I guess the best way to describe it is a carbon fiber look. One runs horizontal, one runs vertical. So they're kind of crossing each other. Ones have the diamond plated on it. They're all print the same thing. Your more expensive ones are your better quality ones. I'm not too worried about the quality of the EVA foam, as so Harbor Freight ones are actually pretty good from what I found. Let's see, what else are some of the basic tools? Oh yes. DAP Quick Seal is, I guess, kind of a basic tool, but also more, not really advanced tool, but other tools are, I guess, material, I guess. But basically, if you're, say you got all your prop item done, as I do right here, if I test properly, so like I said, you're going to go back with this DAP Quick Seal. If you're not really worried about hiding all this EVA foam and your all that stuff, you don't have to. You can just go about painting it. But if you really want to make your prop stand out and distinct and you want to make it really good looking, is applying this DAP Quick Seal over these lines of different layers of EVA foam, as well as some of this stuff around here. Basically applying it in thin doses by using this and some water, a little bowl of water, and just dipping your finger in the water, kind of, what's it called? Thinning out the DAP lightly and just rubbing it in, making it smooth, so it makes like the EVA foam is all one big piece, and it gives it a nice effect. And then when you paint it, you don't see your different layers. So that's what kind of DAP is good for. You don't necessarily have to use DAP. You can use other brands of Quick Seal out there. It's basically a kitchen and bath adhesive chalk waterproof seal. There's other stuff like that, caulking, whatever you want to use, you can use. So this is what brand I'll be using mostly, and some of us EVA foam people work. And Evil Ted uses it. Not because he uses it, but it's definitely a recommended brand. DAP Quick Seal. That should be pretty much everything for basic things to be getting started. Here's some more kind of advanced tools, but also another thing to keep in mind as well as is your paints. I definitely recommend a acrylic paint over spray paint, because spray paint eventually cracks and it wears off your EVA foam. But also some plasti dip, either like a black or gray, whatever you want to use. A black's probably the most recommended. You're going to spray over that item, and it makes the material, the EVA foam and the other paint you're going to be attaching to it more flexible, as if you were just to use the spray paint over the EVA foam to your prop item. We're going to use this Lancer as an example. So if I just spray paint with spray paint, eventually, probably the more worn out, I'm going to grab the handle a lot, the stock of the gun, around the chainsaw blade handle is probably going to get touched a lot, worn, not really bent, but there is like the armors or your helmet's constantly being put off your head. So it goes from your head size to when you take it off your head to it shrinks down a little bit, or more or less just different than when you put something in it. But your armor you're constantly putting on and off, or bending down, doing photography, photos, different stances and all stuff. Your paint, your basic spray paint will eventually peel off and start falling off, and then you'll see your color of your EVA foam itself. So the plastic makes that paint like the acrylic paint, and the acrylic paint is really good from what I've watched out there. But so the plastic painting all over your item makes that paint that you're retouching or painting over that plastic more flexible. So me grabbing this all the time, the handle, or doing whatever it is, it makes it more pliable so it doesn't come off. You also put balloon latex out there besides DAP Quick Seal or the plastic dip. And the DAP Quick Seal also, it's waterproof seal, and it's a rubber-like material kind of afterwards. That's a good thing. Said also thing when you put your plastic over that, it works perfectly fine. Definitely recommend the acrylic paints when you're painting all that stuff. It's nice to have the spray paint. Like I said, it's nice because you can just spray press real quick and then tape off. Acrylic paint is kind of a pain in the ass because sometimes you have to go back and use a paintbrush to go about painting off. It takes a little more time, and if you're in a hurry, spray paint is good. Like I said, also, like I said, you can buy your different sizes. Sorry this video is kind of scattered as far as materials and tools, but it's just kind of scattered, just trying to get everything done. But if you buy the bigger containers, as this is particular barred rubber cement, I went and bought a Weldwood contact cement. It's a bigger container, obviously. I'm going to try some of this stuff out and see how I like this versus this. Probably stick with the barge. As us EVA foam people definitely like it. So I'm going to try this out. It's also another cement. But paint brushes, or I was going to use foam brushes, but if you want to keep using and not keep buying the foam brushes, because eventually once that foam brush dries and you're not using your bar jug anymore, that brush will get hard as a rock. These are a little more easier to clean out instead of going back and buying a bunch of these. And the only thing to worry about with these is the paintbrush coming out onto the EVA foam, but applying the EVA foam in a nice even coat is nice to have this. As some of these do have its own little brush inside of itself, but eventually those kind of getting gross and nasty and hardened. So definitely paintbrush should be applying some of your EVA foam, or your barge rubber on the EVA foam. Sorry. But paintbrushes, applying your barge rubber in the even layers, because you want to keep your barge rubber in even layers. Another kind of thing I ordered online, but it's more of an advanced, not really advanced tool, but another tool I liked that was nice to have was a hot knife / soldering iron. I guess it's kind of a basic tool or kind of another tool you could buy if you want to, but only if you're planning on doing some lighting into your prop or whatever you're doing. So I'll be doing some lighting in the Lancer, like I went over in the first video, as well as some lighting in the armor. So I'm needing a soldering iron to be soldering wires and all lights and all that stuff. So that's another thing if you keep in mind if you want to do lights or if you want to do some quick batteries, plug-in battery lights, you can do that. But if you want to do your own lights for like LEDs or take apart those basic lights and do your own wiring to sort of switch from that. Because I'll be doing some wiring, some switches. But a hot knife makes it easy to cut the detailed work, as I did on. It makes it a lot easier to do a lot of this distinct line work around this snob pistol. And this is not the exact piece, but to making these small cuts is nice to have a hot knife. It makes it like cutting through butter, basically. It's nice, and it's nice. And show the small detailed area right here. It makes it easier to cut through the small detailed area, and that way you don't have to worry overcutting. Actually, this is the piece, actually. I do apologize. Plus, it kind of gives a nice clean line out these, but I'll go back to the sandpaper and just make these lines better and cleaner after it's all glued together. But hot knife is not an advanced tool, but another extra tool you can go buy if you really want to. I went and bought this because, like I said, the issue I was going to have making this snob pistol was making my angled cuts and making kind of distinct cuts on it. So that was my main issue as far as me using the regular blade. So the hot blue knife / soldering iron is definitely a nice thing I'm going to be using in the future. Let's see, what else? The mats. The big container you see back there is what I'm going to be keeping my Gears of War cosplay in. It has wheels, a handle, as well as some areas I can attach some bungee cord straps or straps in general to. That way I can make everything a lot easier and hands-free. I can just throw all my cosplay bags onto, and my other cosplays that I have in bags onto that, and just wheel it around and just strap it down so it stays. Because the issues I always usually have, and when I go to my conventions, is I have lots of bags and I'm trying to carry everything all at once, and I have my friends helping, which I'm not against my friends helping me, but this allows me to be more hands-free. So I'm definitely excited about that, to be using that for the cosplay. And it will attach those other bags and it's more hands-free, because I'll be doing my other bag that has my other cosplays, as well as my suit bag that I have that keeps all my dress suit and my V cosplay, my Rock Lee cosplay. That something neat I like to have hung up, keeps in there. I can toss my bag on there and then carry some other things I need to carry. That should be everything that I do believe. I guess another paint I guess you could be using is modeling paint. Thinner, not thinner, but a paintbrush cleaner from like these model paints. It's a brush cleaner. I guess you can use that to be cleaning off the barred rubber cement, but I'm not exactly sure. So probably just some soap and water to be cleaning off your paintbrushes from the barred rubber cement. This is probably a better one to be using. That should be about everything as far as tools goes. I guess another kind of, not really a more advanced tool, but another thing at the plus I think I have is these push pins. So that way you, instead of trying to hold the template down on the EV foam, you just put these on your template and you go about tracing your template on the EV foam itself, and then it makes it easier to trace. You still have to push down that template down in some area that it keeps kind of coming up, but these push pins make it a lot more easier to be keeping down your template. Another thing is, so if you're using your Dremel, is to have your different bits. As I have an organizer that has my different bits and different things I need for the Dremel and different parts for the Dremel organized. I also have a saw blade Dremel bit that I'll plan on using on some plastic, because these sanding flat bits pieces right here, can't quite see, but they're basically like a sanding blade, but it's a thin little piece. They do break pretty dang easy. So I got the saw blades that I'll be cutting in some plastic, but as well as the Dremel, as I'll be using it in the Nerf gun stuff, cutting through Nerf gun stuff. So I feel like that saw blade would be a perfect thing to have to cutting through the Nerf gun plastic. You don't really have to have an organizer, but I like to keep organized. But also kind of keep in mind, and when you're, so if you're in a long haul to be doing this EVA foam stuff, definitely it's nice to keep things organized, and it makes your process a lot easier. It's not really, my room's not really organized, but everything's in containers. Like I said, I have all my containers I need for my EVA foam stuff as well as my Nerf gun stuff. I have everything in here. Glues, Gorilla Glue, glue sticks, my blade, different blades, pins, lighters, X-Acto blades, extra glue sticks, other utility blades and all that stuff. Highlighters, another cheap utility blades, and another pair of scissors. Just keep everything organized. It makes your working area a lot easier. With the smaller utility blades, the plans are to be going back only using the scissors and the smaller utility blades just for the paper stuff and whatnot. And then be using the heavy duty blades and the hot knife and whatnot on the EVA foam itself. And using the X-Acto knife on my paper templates. So that's going to be that. And some screwdrivers I need for the Nerf gun stuff. And I'll kind of also go over that a little later in my Nerf gun tutorial video kind of information. I think that should be it, and that should wrap this part 2 video up. Like I said, I do apologize it kind of being long, as well as it video finally getting out there. I've been procrastinating real bad and real hard. So, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. I think I said in my first video that I was planning on making a Facebook and a Snapchat and an Instagram page. I think the Snapchat and Instagram page might be held off for a while, but looking maybe to make a Facebook page that goes on the channel. But that might be not until down the line, until I get finally rolling in the channel itself. And it's still early in my channel making and me to the YouTube stuff, like I said earlier. But maybe Facebook eventually, a Facebook channel that coincides with my YouTube channel will be up there eventually, and I'll post stuff to the Facebook page. But for right now, just keep a lookout on my channel, and just like and comment, subscribe. And if you have any further questions that I maybe left out or anything like that you want to ask me, feel free to comment to me and let me know. I'll be willing to answer your guys' questions. Until then, see you guys for future videos, and see you guys later, and see you in videos to come too. Yeah.